Good morning guys, it's Chelsea. I wanted to do a video for you guys today cooking in the Instant Pot. So you know that I absolutely love cooking with my Instant Pot. If you're not familiar with the Instant Pot, it is a pressure cooker. It also has saute features, yogurt settings. It allows you to slow cook if that's what you'd rather do. It has a rice cooker. It basically will do almost anything you need to do in the kitchen. So today I'm going to share a recipe with you from my friend's cookbook. So my friend Jill has a cookbook that came out a few years ago called The New Fast Food, and it's all about cooking wholesome vegan meals in the Instant Pot and pressure cookers. So it has directions for stovetop pressure cookers as well as ones that are easily adaptable for the Instant Pot. So I absolutely love Jill's cookbook. I've made almost all the recipes in it, and Jill and I correspond a lot, so we were talking about what we should do, and we were like, maybe I should make some videos for some of her recipes. So Jill's been incredibly gracious to allow me to share a few recipes for you. So over the next couple weeks you'll be seeing some videos on the Instant Pot and the recipes from Jill's cookbook. So I will link below a blog post that has all the details about this recipe, as well as a link where you can buy Jill's ebook. So Jill's book comes in an ebook as well as a paper format. I personally love the ebook format, that's what I have. Mainly because as soon as I saw her cookbook, I wanted it automatically, so I bought the ebook so I could download it right away. But I also love it because it allows me to have a PDF copy on my work computer and my home computer. So if I'm at work and I'm like, I want to make that recipe of Jill's, but I can't remember what I need from the store, I can pull up the recipe, jot down my grocery list, and then when I come home, I have the copy here at home, and then I also have printed a copy for myself as well. Sometimes I have the whole printed copy, and then occasionally I'll just print off a single recipe as well. It's a really simple format. I love the search feature in the PDF document. It just makes it really easy to find exactly what I want. So I highly recommend Jill's cookbook. Today we're going to cook a recipe from it, and like I said, all the details will be down in the description box. So today we're going to be making Jill's black bean soup recipe. So this is again from her cookbook, and it is the black bean soup. I absolutely adore black bean soup. I love soup in general. Personally, I could eat soup year round. My husband really only likes soup in the winter, so that's when we make it most often. But I could eat soup all year long, and that's what's great about the Instant Pot is it makes soup quick and efficient, super healthy, and then also it doesn't heat the whole house up. So that's part of why we don't make soup in the warmer months, because the whole house gets warm while the soup boils on the stove. But the nice thing about the Instant Pot contains all that heat down in there, so you can make soup any time of year. The other thing that makes making soup in the Instant Pot really great is the saute feature. So I can saute up my veggies so they're nice and soft before I pressure cook everything. So that's what we're going to do first today. We're going to saute up our onions and our garlic and get everything nice and soft before we put everything in there for the soup. Now, one thing that is special about this soup is that it has beans in it, and we're going to use dried beans, which means we need to soak them before we start the soup. So I actually soaked these beans, my black beans, last night. You can either soak them overnight, or Jill does have directions in her book about how to quick soak the beans if you forget to soak them, which I usually do. But I was planning ahead, so I did soak these beans overnight so they're ready to go. So that's step one, is soak your beans overnight. So now that our beans are soaked and we're ready to actually cook our soup, we're going to first saute the vegetables. So that means we get to use the saute feature. So I'll show you how to do that. So for the saute feature of our Instant Pot, we're going to first plug our Instant Pot in, which means that it's plugged in because it has the word off on it. It's turned on. We're going to open up the lid. We always want to have the lid open when we're using our saute feature. Got nothing in there right now, but I'm going to click the saute button right here, and that's going to begin the saute feature of our Instant Pot. This recipe does call for about a tablespoon of oil. If you don't use oil in your recipes, you can use a little bit of vegetable broth or just stir frequently to keep your vegetables from sticking. So I'm going to add just a dab of oil down in there. Put that in there. I'm going to let the Instant Pot heat up, and then I'll add our onions to it. One thing that I think is really important whenever you're making a recipe in general, but especially in the Instant Pot, is to have all your ingredients prepped before you get started. This makes sure that you've read through the recipe, you understand what you're doing, but then also it makes it a lot faster and makes sure that nothing gets burned while you're trying to prep ingredients. This is a hard lesson that I have had to learn over the years, but it's been a good one. So I have actually prepped everything I need for the recipe here, and then my beans are over there in the strainer in the sink, but this really just makes everything go efficiently and quickly once you're ready to begin. So this oil has been in the Instant Pot for just a second. It's starting to heat up. It will actually tell you when it is finished heating up. It will beep, but I've found that you can go ahead and put the vegetables in there a little bit early and they will go ahead and start to soften. So I'm going to put them in there. I'm going to stir them around till they get nice and soft, and then we'll do our next step. Our onions have been sauteing for about 2 minutes, and you can hear that they're nice and crackly in there. So now it's time for the next step. So for the next step, I'm going to add the garlic, the cumin, and the chipotle powder. So of course I have those measured out already, so I can just quickly dump them in there. Sometimes some of it gets a little stuck. There we go. So I add those in. I'm going to stir it around so those onions get nice and covered in the spices. At this point, if it was starting to stick a little bit, I could add a little splash of my vegetable broth to help it keep from sticking. That is another great reason to have your ingredients already measured out in case you need them. So now that that's stirred up, I'm going to add my beans, broth, bay leaves, and oregano. You up there in the tripod so that I could have both my hands for this part. I did go ahead and pour the vegetable broth in there first, just so that we could keep it from burning. Any of the spices that are stuck to the bottom there, I want to go ahead and get them off and keep them from burning. So this recipe does call for 6 cups of vegetable broth. So this can pack, I know, has 4 cups, and then I had 2 additional cups in my measuring cup. So I added the vegetable broth, and then next I'm going to add my beans, which I actually had soaked overnight, and then I had drained and rinsed them. They were over there hiding in the sink. So I'm going to pour those beans in there. And then the next thing that's going to go in there is my bay leaf and oregano, which I had measured out already. I'll stir that in. So I'm going to stir all that up really well to make sure that everything gets mixed together, nothing's stuck down there on the bottom. All stirred up. And now that it's all stirred up, I'm going to turn it on to cook. So this recipe calls for the Instant Pot to be come to pressure for 7 minutes and then to have natural release. So right now the Instant Pot is on because we were using the saute feature. The first thing I want to do is click cancel to stop that saute feature. Then I'm going to want to close the lid. And now it's important to move my pressure valve to sealed. Remember, that's what's going to allow the pressure valve to come up and seal the Instant Pot. So I've got that on sealed. And now over here on the front, I'm going to click manual, and this is for 7 minutes. So I'm going to use my little trick of holding down the button so it doesn't beep every time, and I'm going to turn it down to 7 minutes. And now I'm just going to let the Instant Pot go. So it's going to come to pressure, it's going to stay at pressure for 7 minutes, and then it's going to beep when it's done. And at that point, I'm going to let the pressure come down naturally, which means I'm not going to do anything at all until this valve is back down in this low position like it is right now. It's going to come up and seal, and then as the pressure releases, it's going to drop down. How long that takes depends on the temperature of the liquids, the volume. It might take a little bit of time with this soup, but the nice thing is this is completely hands-off right now. I can go do whatever I want, and it's going to release that pressure, and it's going to be done for me whenever I'm ready to come back. So I'm going to let it cook. I'm going to let the pressure come down naturally. It does beep at the end of the 7 minutes, but you don't have to worry. You just let the pressure come down. So I will be back when the pressures come down, and we'll take a look at our soup. So the pressure's just come down on the Instant Pot, which we know because the pressure valve is at the lower position. I did pop down a little while ago after it finished its cycle, a couple minutes after it finished its cycle, and actually clicked my cancel button here so that the keep warm cycle would stop. That just helps the pressure come down faster. If you weren't around to do that, it's not going to ruin the soup or anything. It just helps it come down faster. So now that my pressure valve is down, the Instant Pot is unlocked, and I can actually open it up and get to my soup. So I'm going to open it up here. And this is what my soup looks like. Grab a spoon and stir it around. Stir it all around, and one thing I've got to do while I'm stirring it around is I've got to find that bay leaf. And it is right there, so I'm going to grab it out of there. So I'm going to stir it all around. The beans are nice and tender. Everything looks delicious. The soup looks awesome. At this point, you have a few options. You can certainly use an immersion blender or a potato masher to blend the soup up some, or you can leave it the way it is. It's whatever your preference is. I don't have an immersion blender. I do have a high-powered blender that I could use to blend this up, or a potato masher. And then all you have to do is put it in a bowl and serve it. You can serve it with some soy yogurt or some maybe some tofutti sour cream. You could add some cilantro. Cilantro would be excellent in this soup, so you can add any of those things. So we'll get it all put into a bowl for you, and then we'll show you what it looks like. So I actually ended up mashing it a little bit with a potato masher, and then I put it in my bowl, and I added a big dollop of tofutti sour cream, and then a little bit of cilantro on top. I'm a big cilantro lover, so I probably will end up stirring some more cilantro in there. But there it is, a quick and easy black bean soup, relatively hands-off, perfect to do in the pressure cooker. It smells absolutely delicious. I can't wait to dig in for some lunch. I will put all of the information about this recipe in my blog post, which will be linked below. You can also find a link below for the link to go buy Jill's cookbook. So if you have any questions, please leave them here on the video or on my blog, and let us know if you like this kind of video. Thanks. Bye.